Man, I came here to win rings, not babysit anyone.
That single comment shattered the Lakers. While fans were focused on the Kings beating them on January 13th, the real explosion was unfolding in the tunnel. Sources say a heated confrontation erupted between Rich Paul and Austin Reeves' agent over an alleged plan to move Reeves just to keep Bronny locked into the rotation. And it goes deeper. LeBron and JJ Redick reportedly had words backstage, and the veterans have quietly begun pointing at Bronny as the issue. But the wildest part? Every bit of this chaos traces back to one message Bronny dropped in the team group chat, a message that flipped everything upside down. Before we break down that leak, let's rewind to January 13, 2026. On paper, the Lakers simply lost to the Sacramento Kings 124-112. Ugly, but routine. What wasn't routine was what happened the second they walked toward the tunnel. The tension was suffocating, you could feel it through the broadcast. Usually, this stuff stays behind closed doors. Not this time. Witnesses, including ESPN's Dave McMenamin, say Reggie Barry was already standing there. And if you don't know Barry, he's the powerhouse at AMR agency representing Austin Reeves. He wasn't waiting for a smoothie. He was waiting for Rich Paul. Imagine sitting courtside watching two of the most powerful agents in basketball nearly come to blows before players even reach the locker room. Barry was furious because Reeves is approaching a $200 million max contract, life-changing, legacy-defining money. And Barry believed Rich Paul was attempting to undermine Reeves' position to protect Bronny James' minutes. You're probably wondering, how does Bronny factor into this? And how is Rich Paul sabotaging Reeves when injuries already sidelined him? Hold that thought. Because as security separated the agents, something bigger was happening behind the locker room doors. Apparently, that agent clash was just noise. The real bombshell came when LeBron confronted JJ Redick about a quiet clause in his deal, one Luka was never supposed to discover. To understand why grown men nearly fought in a tunnel, you have to go back to November 15th, the night LeBron changed the franchise's direction. Lakers vs. Bucks. On the surface? A big win. Luka dropped 41 and carried them. But look at the rotation. That's where the damage shows. Bronny started but logged only 10 minutes. 0 for 2. 0 points. 0 impact. At this level, that's not just an off night, it's a liability. Every minute Luka spends compensating is a minute draining his MVP momentum. Luka is 26, deep in his prime, dragging a legacy project night after night. It's about energy. MVP players expect competence beside them. That night, when Bronny shared the floor, the Lakers' net rating dipped to -4.2, in a game they won. They weren't winning because of him. They were winning in spite of him. Redick reportedly snapped mid-game, yelling at Bronny to shoot before benching him entirely. That's when the silent arrangement cracked. League whispers say LeBron supported Redick's hiring under one condition: Bronny plays alongside Luka. The idea? Develop him in real games, position him as the future. A developmental experiment disguised as a championship chase. But when Milwaukee began attacking Bronny possession after possession, Redick's instincts took over. He realized he couldn't protect the project and secure the win simultaneously. After that game, Luka stopped playing along. In an interview, he made it clear, he's here for championships, not babysitting duties. Development belongs in the G League.
Man, I came here to win rings, not babysit anyone.
That comment detonated the locker room. LeBron wasn't even active that night due to sciatica, but reports say he went full protective father, confronting Redick for breaking the understanding. This wasn't disagreement. It was the birth of Team Luka versus Team Clutch. Rich Paul recognized the leverage shift instantly. If Luka wouldn't support Bronny's development, Paul would remind him who controls the chessboard. He didn't float trading Bronny, too obvious. Instead, on January 13th, the same night as the Kings' loss, he went on his podcast and subtly targeted the one teammate Luka genuinely connects with, Austin Reeves. Paul labeled Reeves an asset, not a cornerstone, suggesting the Lakers should move him for a defensive anchor like Jaren Jackson Jr.
If I was the Lakers, I would probably be targeting the Memphis Grizzlies as a trade partner
For?
Jaren Jackson.
Yeah. That'd be a great fit.
I would.
For whom?
One scenario, right? Or you could say, let me withhold that, but this comes with
Austin Reeves.
This comes with a very unemotional attachment.
It felt like strategic pressure. A message to Luka: fall in line, or your closest ally is gone. Psychologically, it was calculated. Control the environment. Control the roster. Control him. Reggie Barry wasn't going to let his client become collateral damage, which explains the tunnel confrontation. But what Paul didn't realize was that Luka's frustration ran deeper than playing time. Months earlier, a leaked team chat message from Bronny shifted everything. It convinced Luka this wasn't basketball strategy, it was family branding. To understand the fracture, rewind to February 1, 2025, the day the Luka for Anthony Davis trade became real. According to a Hollywood ending by Yaron Weitzman, the deal was meant to stay internal until players were briefed. Instead, Bronny reportedly saw Shams Charania's tweet and immediately dropped it into the team chat. Imagine being Anthony Davis, bringing a championship, sacrificing your body, and learning your exit through a rookie's forwarded link.
I can't believe this, man. They just traded me to the worst franchise in NBA history.
LeBron responded with a stunned text, but beneath that was panic. Davis wasn't just a co-star. He was defensive security and emotional stability. In return came Luka, a 25-year-old superstar LeBron would now share oxygen with. For 2 decades, LeBron has been the son of the NBA system. Suddenly, a younger, statistically superior force entered orbit. LeBron likely envisioned the spotlight transitioning to Bronny post-retirement. Luka's arrival erased that roadmap. Right now, Luka leads the league at 33.6 points per game, yet the Lakers hover near .500. When Luka and Bronny share the floor, that -4.2 net rating resurfaces. Luka turned pro at 13 in Madrid, battling grown men. He values merit, not inheritance. Even Charles Barkley publicly criticized the situation on Inside the NBA.
They're going to move on, and I think that's the right thing to do. At some point, you've got to turn the team over to Luka and Austin, and that's the only way you can start, because you can't be paying him $50 million a year to be the third best player on a team.
That commentary stung. LeBron has never been a third option, not in Miami, not in Cleveland. Now Luka is the alpha, and reports suggest Bronny's minutes have become leverage. A reminder that while Luka may lead scoring, LeBron influences rotation. But this tension predates LA. In 2020, LeBron pitched Nike on building Team LeBron, envisioning a sub-brand like Michael Jordan's empire. His dream ambassador? Luka Dončić. LeBron publicly praised Luka's style, imagining him as the face of that brand.
I wanted Luka to be the first signee of Team LeBron when he was going through his situation. And it didn't happen. He's still under the same umbrella of Nike's with Jordan, but I wanted him.
Nike hesitated. Luka didn't. He signed with the Jordan brand instead. For someone who has spent 20 years chasing Michael Jordan's shadow, watching Luka align with that legacy was symbolic. LeBron later admitted it lingered with him.
I feel like it's going to haunt me a little bit.
It's going to haunt you.
But I wanted him to be my guy. I wanted him to be my first guy.
Now it's 2026. Luka dominates scoring in Los Angeles, wearing Jordans. Every step-back three carries that logo. In late November 2025, after a whistle, Luka extended a routine low five. LeBron saw it and ignored it. Not accidental. Intentional. That wasn't about one moment. It was 5 years of bruised ego surfacing. LeBron's usage rate has dipped to a career low around 28%. Instead of embracing transition, post-game interviews became narratives of sacrifice. Then came the ESPN quote, "If we're depending on a 41-year-old to be our best defender, we're in trouble." Many interpreted it as a subtle jab at Luka's defense, despite Bronny's defensive rating sitting at 120.5 during limited minutes. On March 6, 2025 at Madison Square Garden, criticism from Stephen A. Smith about Bronny sparked a courtside confrontation that stunned viewers. Reports say LeBron confronted him directly, telling him to stop criticizing his son. Security watched closely as tensions rose. Afterward, public figures aligned carefully. Access matters. Narrative matters. By February 5th's trade deadline, indecision defined LA. Gabe Vincent was moved for Luke Kennard, more shooting, not defensive reinforcement. Rumors of bigger defensive additions never materialized. Then All-Star voting delivered the symbolic shift. For the first time in 23 years, LeBron wasn't a starter. Luka led all vote-getters with over 3.8 million votes. The 2026 All-Star Game at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood centers on the 26-year-old Slovenian star. A generational transfer unfolding in real time. And for a player who has always been the crown, watching it move might be the hardest adjustment of all.